Hello everyone, welcome to William and the Magic Box. Today on our show we are going to have Chris. Chris is from Tennessee in the USA. So let's see what Chris has to say. Enjoy the interview. Hello,
Howdy. Sorry about all that.
it's okay, Chris. How are you? Good morning.
Good morning. How are you?
Very well. Thanks so much for taking the time on Sunday morning for the interview. Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. My pleasure.
So usually do you wake up very early in the weekends, during the week? Are you an early bird or not really?
I am primarily an early bird. It's weird because I'm a tattoo artist, but I love going to bed early around 9 or 10 and just getting a good night's sleep, getting up at 7 and hitting the ground running. So I'm definitely an early bird, but yeah, yeah, I guess it's 6 hours ahead where you're at.
Yes, right now it's 3 p.m.
Oh, that ain't too bad.
And how was your day yesterday? How was your evening last night?
Oh, great, great. I got home a little late. I finished up a Passion Flower realism project. It was a cover up. Well, I didn't finish it up. We were wrapped up for the night. But yeah, it was a good long session so far. Whenever you do realism, you kind of can't stop in the middle of anywhere. You have to find those hard stopping points to make sure it's going to glue back together, when you come back to it. So,
I see. And where are you from, Chris?
uh, I am from Dixon, Tennessee, in the United States. It is basically, if you've ever heard of Nashville, Tennessee, we're about 40 minutes west of it. So, Music City, USA. So, yes.
And
Yeah.
so you are very close to the capital city.
Absolutely. Yeah. We're just a few minutes, basically just 30, 40 minutes down the road. So,
And that's the place where you were born and raised?
actually, I was born in Austin, Texas. Um,
Wow.
yeah. Yeah, I was born in Austin, Texas, and then I moved up to Tennessee like back in 1995 with the family, classic traveling with the family story. So
And all your family, they live in Tennessee as well?
most of them, yes. A lot of them are kind of spread out. There's actually not a lot of my family in like America. They're actually an Austrian uh, base. So there's only like, a couple dozen Lochbihlers here. So yeah,
And
it's kind of weird.
you said you are a tattoo artist. So tell me a little bit about your career.
I started in 2014 after I left Gibson Guitars in Nashville. So I used to build guitars for a living and
Oh,
decided to
wow.
step away from that and decided to work for myself because I think back in the day I was a little bit hard to listen to others. I thought I knew everything. So, I was like, I'm going to do it myself. So, you learn. But yeah, I've loved it. It's been since 2014. I was the main piercer, manager, and owner. And then I actually learned how to tattoo with my business partner and mentor at the time, which is very unconventional. Most people start off apprentice, learn years, do this, but I grew up in industry. My mom actually dated my mentor's mentor. So we've all hung out in tattoo shops. Hindsight, shouldn't have been 14 in a tattoo shop, but we were all hanging out in tattoo shops since I was young with my friends and stuff growing up in it. So, it was kind of a natural transition. So,
And when the idea came along, when did you think, okay, let me start working as an artist, tattoo artist? There was something that happened, or you just thought, okay, let me just get into this passion?
that's the thing that I think confuses a lot of people because they always think it's this epic tale of like, I grew up this way and I will fight to the top and I will have it was a 2 week idea and I just was full of piss and vinegar and I decided, let's go for this, guys. Um, Sometimes you can paralyze yourself by over analyzing your steps and sometimes just taking bold drastic measures, not smart always, but taking bold measures sometimes is better than waiting and preparing. So
Totally. And it's interesting, fascinating as well, how life presents us some opportunities or some new ways, new journeys, and you just step in and you find your passion there. I think that's interesting as well.
yeah, I mean, I grew up drawing and stuff like that, and when I was
Mhm.
like fifth grade or sixth grade, I remember my family telling me, you shouldn't be an artist, you should go in for music. And I was like, you're right, that'll make so much more money. It was ridiculous, but I loved art, but I never pursued it in a serious manner. Like I drew Dragon Ball Z and Legend of Zelda and anime stuff, and it was fun, but yeah, the how I feel like I stumbled into it, even though like my mom dated a mentor or a tattoo artist when I was younger. So, it is weird how it kind of all tumbled into it, but I think it was meant for a reason. So
Absolutely. Okay, so during the journey, I'm going to explore a little bit more about your career and also about your joys in life, okay?
alrighty.
Are you ready to go on a beautiful journey through your memories in life and to share your point of views?
Yeah, absolutely.
Welcome to William and the Magic Box. So I have here my best friend. Okay, full of wonderful questions. I'm just going to play a song now just for us to relax a bit before the first question, okay?
Alrighty.
Let's do it. Okay, Chris, during the journey, if it comes up a question that you don't want to talk about for some reason, you don't want to answer, always can change, okay?
Alrighty.
First question for you is, what would be the theme song, what would your theme song be if you had your own show?
If I had my own show, probably In Hell, I'll Be Good Company by the Dead South. It's just a very little cheeky jingle about kind of being a scoundrel. So it's just kind of relatable.
And why is that? Why the connection with the song?
I think a lot of tattoo artists have a black heart inertia where they feel like they've been on one side of the other. And I mean, it's very cliche, but there is a bit of that to it. So I don't know. It's fun. It's kind of making the best out of a bad scenario and then keep moving forward.
Amazing. Okay. Next question. Right. Next question is, what's your funniest memory of your time at school?
Funnest memory at time at school. And we're talking more like elementary, middle school, high school, not necessarily college.
Yeah. As a teenager or a child.
Well, it was pretty cool that when I was 16, we got to do Battle of the Bands because I loved playing music growing up. And everybody would have sometimes a negative rumor, in high school or something, but mine were weirdly like great rumors. And it was kind of cool because when I won Battle of the Bands, they're like, he moved out to California and got a record. No, it was a local little event, it was funny because people treated me like I was like something for 2 days. And then I was like, this is silly. This is just a local little event. So I don't know, it was just a cool memory. So
did you like school?
Honestly, I was a lot more, like I said earlier, a little bit of a full of piss and vinegar, being a little bit angsty. I always wanted to do something different or more. School, it was not bad, school was school.
Yeah.
I just felt like I thrived once I actually left high school. Then I got to go to college for music and get into Gibson and all that. So I just felt like my life began after school. Nothing negative about it. Just felt like there's a bigger sense of purpose after. So.
And you have siblings as well?
I have one. I have one older brother. He's 35. He lives in Nashville right now. He's a computer tech. So, yeah. He does like network security, I think. Something. We're kind of two sides of the coin, but he's a great dude. Great dude.
Very good. Next one. Before the next question, tell me what's the best part of being a tattoo artist? Yeah, what's the biggest joy of it? And the flip side, what do you find most challenging?
It's actually the same answer, is the financial independence, because being your own boss is hard because whipping your own ass into shape to hustle somebody in to stay that extra hour or two to work as you're working on your podcast. You have to put in the extra steps for it, just as we have to put in those extra steps. But that's also the greatest reward, is that you can have control of how you spend what you need to do. And, in the end, you can always provide for yourself without relying on others, as much. That's one of the greatest gifts about this industry. You can just pick up, go and tattoo in a town and make your own money. Especially in times like this where it's uncertain, it's sometimes a little more guaranteed, believe it or not. So.
And tell me something based on that. Tell me something different or unique about your art or about your place where people they come to see you for a tattoo. Tell me something that maybe they cannot find anywhere else. Something unique about the place.
We strive to be more than just like a touristy walk-in shop. We've been there for 9 years now, 9 years in August. Um, Basically, we are actually building a new studio in this August. It's going to be our third one. We don't have three of stores. We are been upgrading each time. We try to create a privacy for a lot of women and more of a luxury product, because a lot of tattoo shops have this big open room where people will be yelling, or dudes come up and be like, "Hey, I like your tattoo," and it's just,
Yeah.
You want to create that type of safe space, so that's what we try to provide, especially that most of our artists are actually women. We have 2 front desk men and almost all female artists. So they want their privacy with their clients to be able to feel safe or protected. So we offer that at a higher end luxury experience, and I also do like mastectomy scar cover-ups because I do color realism and I do a lot of portraits, and that I can do scar corrections and stuff like that. It's not a big part of my art, but it is a side category I do occupy at the studio. So we offer a little multitude of services that makes it stands out, especially being outside of Nashville. So you don't have to travel up there for a luxury high-end product in a slightly smaller community kind of mentality. So
interesting. You say that most of your clients, they are women. Oh, yep. Well, that's interesting. Actually, I was about to ask you that, if you had more men or women. So why do you think it's more women?
The industry before COVID I call it like BC before COVID. A lot of times growing up, especially when I was 14 in tattoo shops, it was all men. It was just bikers, and it was, just rough and tough. That's what it was, and now it's a completely different vibe. But there's actually more women in the industry at this point, I believe. I had to find the statistics because I took a class on it, but apparently it's a woman-dominated industry. It is, even in my personal experiences, and I don't know why this is the correlation, but I've had more difficulty with men almost every time with clients. But oddly, men make a better front desk worker for me because they have this guardianship about them, and they'll protect the girls, and they'll make sure that they don't book them out with somebody who's inappropriate or anything like that. And then I don't know, this is how the business has just turned into. I love it. I never, when we started, it was a bunch of friends and dudes, and the shop kept rotating and change out of clients, and this is kind of just where it landed on. And I absolutely think it's at its strongest and best right now. So I work with 3 different females and 1 different male artist right now, and then the 2 people up front, their desk staff support. So I don't know, it's just kind of how it fell into. So
very interesting. Next question is, if you could meet yourself when you were 15 years old again, which advice would you give to yourself?
Shut your mouth. Stop being an edgelord. Something I'm happy I grew from, but growing up with a little bit of angst, you think sometimes being funny and intense and poking fun at others in a negative way is cool, and it's just not. Maybe think of others a little bit more, truly. But my 15-year-old self was he was a mess.
It's funny to see you talking so open about it and recognize that, let's say, you are a wild child at the time.
Yeah. That's the best way to put it. I was just wild. It was 15. But also I was a child. It's, I try not to look at it too negatively, just factually.
Saying that, what's the best part of being Chris? Of the best part of being you when you think about yourself?
Resilience for overcoming. Literally, the only reason I'm here is because I have failed in every way. So.
Oh, I like that. Very good. Ready for another one?
Yeah.
Let's do it. You sound very relaxed. Let's do it. Next question is, if you could be an animal, which one that would be and why?
The quickest one I can think of is a Boston Terrier. They're just my favorite animal on earth. I have two of them, of course. You know, they genuinely are just excited, and they're like little souls inside those dogs. So probably Boston Terrier if I could be any animal.
And tell me about your city. What's something interesting about the city or about the place that it's very unique that you can only find around this area where you live right now? There's something special?
Where we live at right now?
Yeah.
It's the last bit of like country before it's like a too desolate rural area that nobody can get to. Like in our yard, we have blue crawfish, and I didn't know crawfish could actually live on land.
Oh.
I didn't know this kind of stuff around these parts. Like Tennessee has some really rich agricultural, kind of land to it. And I never knew this stuff until I bought my house last year and out in the country a little bit away from the city. I wanted to kind of, digest society a little bit better because I'm easily stimulated. So learning this agriculture is kind of cool because I thought crawfish slept in like, creek beds and stuff. And we got blue crawfish crawling around the land, and raccoons are coming up and eating it. And it's just wacky, but I love it,
And you see yourself living there for a long while?
Yeah, me and my wife definitely think it's a good retirement home. It's all one level. The ironic thing is we live next to our tattoo manager. This was his old grandma's house, and we bought it from his family. So, we're all very connected at the shop. We've all known each other for years. So,
and your wife is from Tennessee as well?
Yep. She was born and raised here. So,
amazing. Next question. Hey, Chris from Tennessee. Next question is, what bad habits do you wish you could stop?
Letting my thoughts run wild when I should just calm down and realize it's going to be okay.
So. And why you think it's a bad habit? Think this way.
Survival techniques. If you grew up a certain way, you definitely want to approach the world with caution. And sometimes you might think the worst, but really the world is amazing and you can open up a little, so.
And growing up for you, how was growing up? Did you grow up in Texas or
not? Mainly Tennessee. I was born in Texas, but we moved up here when I was, I think, 3 or 4.
Okay.
But yeah, I pretty much lived here most of my life, and I wouldn't say it was there are some extremely rough moments, of course. Since my mom dated a tattoo artist, I think you can fill the gaps a little bit on the stuff that might pursue from that. But in general, I would say there might have been bad moments, but it's not a bad life, not at all.
You said something that made me think about something now. When you say about, a tattoo artist, he come across a bit rough, you know what I mean? What do you think nowadays is the biggest misconception that people still have from, tattoo artists or people who has a lot of tattoos? There's something that, in your opinion, that still kind of people still carry on with that stigma or something about it?
I would say there's 2. One is that it's a giant party and everyone's just doing legal activities in the back and stuff like that. It used to be and come from that origin a little bit, and that's explainable. But like in today's time, we're a bunch of soccer moms. Some of us have kids. We're just doing art, it's a whole new breed of artists out there in today's time, which is a good thing. And I don't know, basically it's all fun and games is the main thing, because it's a hell of a ton of drawing at home. It's a hell of a ton of emails. It's managing your social media. You have to promote yourself. You have to reach out. People don't follow through. People like myself were late for a meeting today. Stuff like that happens. So, it's a lot of work to do this. It's a great job. It's really rewarding, but it is hard. It is a lot of work. So.
I'll tell you something, I might be wrong, but my opinion regarding tattoo, I think nowadays it's so popular right now. I don't know if you have the same impression, but I think for the last few years, tattoo is grown up a lot. I've seen so many more people like express themselves with tattoos, that I've never seen before. And again, I think it's very, let's say it's cool. I think people have this thing about cool having a tattoo.
Yeah, absolutely. It has many different values and many different forms,
Yeah.
what it means to others, but I think you pretty much nailed it with what most people identify with it, you know.
Cool. Next question. Let's do it. Before the next question, tell me which one was your first tattoo, which one is your latest one, and also tell me your first tattoo that you did in someone that was like professionally, that the first since you started your career. Tell me, walk me through a little bit the first one that you did it.
So
somebody.
To answer those questions, my first one was the one behind my ear. Has now been covered up since with a better version of it. That was my first one. Okay, so it's a Transformer symbol. I'm a nerd, so
I went to see Transformers last night. Actually, I straight away spotted.
Was it good?
Yeah, I mean, yes, was cool. I think they implement now different characters in the movie, which is it's amazing. Yeah, I quite like it.
And then my second tattoo I actually got 2 weeks ago, or my newest one. It's on my back. You can't really see it too well, but it does start here. So
it's the bird.
Yep, it's a heron. So
oh wow,
try not to show too much or anything. I just wanted to show you a little bit.
So that's the one that, it's been finished or still working on. There's some work to do. This one your back.
Yeah, it's definitely a painful process, and we try to not stress the body out too much. You know, it's not about going 12 hours. It's about a little bit at a time. It's a marathon, not a race, you know? So.
And walk me through a little bit about the first one that you did in someone as a professional tattoo artist.
My first one that I did was a Pokemon tattoo on my buddy, Zach. We just brought him in. I was like, hey man, I have no idea what I'm fucking doing. Do you want one? He's like, sure, let's do it. And that was it. A lot of it's just rock and roll. A lot of it's flying in by the moment and being a part of it, you know?
Okay. Next question is, if you had only 24 hours of life, what would you do?
Just hang out with my wife. That's all I do.
That's very sweet. Saying that, what's the biggest difference between both of you and the biggest similarity?
The biggest similarity, I think, is that we're both driven, driven to excel at our categories or what we do. And the biggest difference is she knows how to keep it cool. She knows how to relax. I definitely am trying harder as I grow older with this to learn how to enjoy the journey, not just the destination. But she definitely enjoys all of it, I guess you could say. So,
and she likes tattoos as well. She's involved in the business or not?
She's not involved in the business, but she is tattooing there. She is a tattoo artist. We try to separate the business stuff between us, actually. Like she doesn't know what everybody makes necessarily, but we have our business arrangements too. It just helps keep, when you work with your loved ones, you got to be careful about what hat you wear. And I have to know when to wear the boss hat and when to wear my husband hat. But it's been a great experience. You know, it's not without its tribulations a little bit, but it's only been empowering and great and learning experience that's benefited us both. So
3 questions left. Let's do it.
All right.
Right. Next question for you is, right, what is the worst or the funniest first date have you ever been on?
The one that comes to mind pretty quickly is when I went to it was a Tinder date kind of thing after a concert. My buddy had to drive me because I was not sober. And yeah, when I got there, she had these long nails and they were just like 2-3 inches, and she was holding Budweisers, and I knew something was weird because she was like, I can't break my nails for the G-Eazy concert this weekend. Chomps her beer and chugs it, and I'm just like, you know, just freaking out. And I'm like, Jacob, we got to get out of here. We got to get out of here. We got to get out of here. So I quickly was like, I'm gonna go down the road real fast, and and I bounced. It was ridiculous. I've never seen a lady eat cans of beer. I was just out of there.
It's a bit scary.
Yeah, a little bit, but whatever. I guess that's what you get when you roll the dice, right?
Absolutely. 2 questions left. Let's do it. Before the next question, tell me through your career as a tattoo artist, tell me a moment a situation that you're never going to forget, something that happens that maybe, a feedback of a client, or maybe a situation that someone comes for, for a tattoo for some reason that there was a moment that you're never going to forget.
I'm trying to. There's moments like 2 weeks ago when I did a portrait of a deceased woman on a belated husband, and those moments when you receive an email the next day and it's just praising you and saying how they're comforted or they can live with their past and stuff like that, that's the most rewarding and the best part of it. But there's also these wacky, crazy moments that happen that stand out almost just as much. And yeah, I've had one in the past where a man in a raggedy teddy bear outfit came up to offer me gifts of friendship, and I don't think he was all there, and I'm not going to speak ill about anything of that nature, but seeing a man in a dirty teddy bear outfit trying to offer me friendship was about one of the most memorable experiences I can remember. It's like, I don't know what this is, but I don't want this friendship, man.
And can you share like other situation where someone came up to you to ask for you to tattoo, in somewhere in their body that you're like, oh, I was expecting that, or maybe a tattoo that maybe for you was a bit strange, or you was expecting? Did you have a situation like that?
Trying to think of ones I can say. There's always going to be a flavor of tattoo that comes in on a person that you're not expecting. Whether it's a political-ish tattoo or a spirituality tattoo that you just didn't see coming in a good or bad way, just that's a good question. That one is kind of stumping me, actually. One was a gentleman had a daughter. He came in and he wanted to get his back covered up because he had a naked lady, and it was save all the hoes, and it was wrapped around this naked lady, and he was like, I need to cover this up because I have a daughter now. And I thought that was, it's a positive, as silly and kind of could be in a little belittling or degrading of a tattoo. He grew from it, he learned from it, he wants to improve on it, he has a daughter, he respects the thing, but it's just kind of funny when you see that and you're like, yeah, your daughter can't see this. Yeah, man, let's get this covered. Wow. That was one. But without going to others, there's some times where you won't expect something out of them that they have on them. Like, yeah, that was probably the biggest one I can remember, because I thought that was really abrasive. I was like, whoa, that was a bad idea. Why'd you do that?
Right. Next question is, what's the biggest prize you ever won?
Besides my wife, probably something I won. I guess that could be item wise, or it could be an event or anything really.
Could be sentimental as well, anything.
My independence I have, when I left Gibson and I, like I said, failed in every way and learned how to become stable on my own. The independence is probably the greatest thing that I have, because I've been able to teach it and share it with others so they can be independent too.
Amazing. Ready for the last one? Last question. Let's do it. But before the last question, people watching the interview right now, maybe they would like to start a career as a tattoo artist, like into the business. What would be your best piece of advice? And also, the other part of the question is, people like me who never had a tattoo, but maybe are considering have a tattoo right now for the first time, what would be your advice?
For the last part of that, Definitely your first tattoo, make it something that you can relate to. As cliche as that could sound, I think it's the best, healthiest way of getting something that's a lifelong commitment, is making sure it's worth it. Like, don't get a loved one's name like your girlfriend or boyfriend, get your child, an animal, a family relative, something that identifies with family. A lot of times is one of the best first tattoos you can get. I think that's a healthy way of doing that. And then what was the first part of that question again?
Before I answer the second part, actually, you said something very interesting, because I'm wondering about having a tattoo, and the first one would be the name of my godson. Actually, it's something that came to my mind as well. Like when I was thinking about the tattoo, I said, okay, I could have his name. The first part of the question was, people would like to start a career, as a tattoo artist. What would be your best piece of advice?
When starting is just learn the art, learn to be in love with the process. If you're not in love with the process of it all, you won't do it. Everybody wants to be a rock star, but do you want to sit there and play guitar 6 hours a day? A lot of people would love to have, and as you know, with your field, you want to have your own podcast, you want to have your own entertainment that you're selling to others and sharing with the world. And you have to be in love with the editing of the videos. You have to be in love with the scouting of who you interview. That's all part of the process. So be in love with finding the right pencils and the programs digitally to use. Be in love with learning how to make a better process, I guess. So
good one. Last question is, how would you like to be remembered in life?
How would I like to be remembered in life, or how will I be remembered in life, is two different things. But I think it would be cool to say that I gave comfort to people, to their bodies, because in the end, when we don't have a lot of control of today's society or what happens around us, at least you can have control what you want on your body. I'm happy to have done that for them.
Amazing. It's not the end yet. Let's play now the word association game. Okay, I'm going to give away some words. Just tell one word that comes to your mind. Quick thinking. So, I hope you are enjoying the interview. Before we do the word association game, don't forget to give a like, don't forget to share this video, and also don't forget to subscribe to our channel. Just click on the button right there. Thank you so much and enjoy the word association game. Let's start with money.
Monopoly Man.
Family.
My wife.
Sweet. Sex.
My wife.
Somehow I knew you'd say that. It was already just expected. And I'm sure the next one is going to be your wife. One word for love.
Ketchup. No, my wife.
One word for politics.
Boring.
Life.
Exhilarating.
One word for religion.
Complicated.
Fear.
Doubt.
One word for friendship.
Love. Philios.
Desire.
Eros, which is a Catholicism love term. So
regret.
But overwhelming, because it can feel overwhelming. So
I see. One word for success.
Resilience.
Wish.
Stars.
Happiness.
Internal love.
Good one. One word for Tennessee.
Home.
One word for USA.
Home.
And the last one now, tattoo artist. One word.
Chaotic.
Interesting. Let's pretend now I'm going to meet your lovely wife for a coffee, and I'm going to ask her, tell me the most beautiful thing about Chris, and tell me something that he still needs to work on, to improve on. What she would say?
She would say she likes my smile the most, probably. That's her favorite thing about me. Oh. And then, work on being more in the moment. So.
Okay. Let's play now, Chris, in the magic box, and you can ask me a question. But before you ask me the question, tell me what's your what's going to be your next tattoo that you're planning to have?
The back of my head. I plan on getting a snake that kind of crawls up my scalp a little bit and comes back down. I'm trying to avoid my face for now, just because I don't know. I shouldn't be afraid. I've been in the almost a decade now, but I don't know. I just kind of want my face left alone, just do my head and stuff. So probably my next step, besides finishing my back.
I see.
So.
Okay, you can ask me a question now.
If you could describe yourself as one tattoo, what would you describe yourself as?
Oh my God, such a great question. Such a great question. Okay, describe myself in a tattoo. You put me in the spot very well, Chris. Let me think. Wow, my God, I never thought about that actually. I was thinking to have a tattoo of my godson, but I wasn't think about how to express myself.
Yeah, but if you're trying to describe you, not your family, yourself.
I see. Yeah, got it. I got it. Right. Okay. I love it. The thing that came to my mind, I would tattoo a globe of, a globe. That's to express myself, because I'm such an adventure person. I love to explore. I love to, to get to see the world. And actually through this podcast, Magic Box, I visit the world like every single day. I had the opportunity to go different parts of the world. So for sure, I would tattoo a globe, because that's what describe myself, or the way I can express myself about my passion is about discovering the world. Wow, I love the question. I love my answer as well. For sure, you gave me an idea now. I might do a tattoo of,
Sounds like you have a bit of a wanderlust. So
you see, and I might come to you to Tennessee so you can work together. How about that?
Absolutely, please do. I would love to work with you. So,
Chris, did you enjoy the interview?
Yes, absolutely. It was very, very fun. I appreciate it so much. Thank you so much.
Thanks so much for taking the time on Sunday morning for the interview. It was a pleasure. But before you go, if you can share a positive message, anything that you live by.
No matter what happens, it's up to you on how you feel. So basically, no matter how bad or positive something can be, it's up to you to determine how you're going to feel about it. So you can choose to be negative, or you can choose to be positive about it.
Amazing. Very good. Thanks so much. Regards to your wife, and keep in touch. It was a pleasure. Okay, Chris? Keep in touch.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Take care. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
So, did you like the show? Don't forget to give a like, share it, and also don't forget to subscribe to the channel. And if you'd like to be part of the show as well, first, subscribe to our channel, and after that, just go to our website, www.williamandthemagicbox.com, and send us a request saying why would you like to be part of the show. And I see you there. Bye bye. See you next time.